People that win, people think that they haven't lost before. And it's like, no, they win because they lost. They win because they lost. And that loss allowed them to get the experience and the traction and the know-how to know how to win. Because they didn't see that loss as a loss. They saw it as a stepping stone to get to where nobody jumps, nobody great. There's nobody that's great that started off great. Like, everybody has to start off at a certain level, take a couple of losses, and then level up to the next thing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Men on Purpose podcast. Today, I've got something different, special and different. It's really, really cool. But first, you know the mission, right? You know the mission: to elevate, educate, empower, enrich, and evolve men to be on purpose so that they can live their most authentic, fulfilling, regret-free life possible, right? I'm adding those ends. I'm adding the end there to live their most fulfilling, authentic, and regret-free life possible. That's why you're here, because you're getting value here to elevate your life, to evolve your life, to be the most authentic version of you. So today, I was inspired by a podcast, and I wanted to have this guy on. This podcast is called Lyrics and Lattes. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to tell you about the host, Jason Wallace, in just a second. So remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button and leave us a 5-star review if you'd be so kind. Secondly, make sure you join if you haven't already. We have hundreds of members in our Men on Purpose community on Facebook. Just go to Facebook, type in the Men on Purpose community, and you will be in a brotherhood of amazing like-minded individuals that are actually on purpose there, not just joining it because it's just something cool to do or to say that they're a part of it, but they're really there doing great things for themselves to the mission, right? To elevate themselves, educate themselves, empower, enrich, and evolve themselves to be the best version of them possible. That is the commitment, and it's a lot of fun. We've got master classes in there. We've got teaching and coaching in there. We've got a book club now. We've got pods in there and little groups, smaller groups of guys that are getting together and challenging each other and going over goals together. It's really amazing. So you gotta join it. And remember, it's not my group. It's the Men on Purpose group. I'm just one of the Men on Purpose that's in the group. It's run by the group. So you can have a lot of fun. Next, if you need me, IanLobas.com, menonpurpose.com. If you need one of our events, we have a lot coming up this year, frontrunner.group. Now, let me talk to you about Jason Wallace and Lyrics and Lattes. I'm going to read this from his website. So if you're a music buff that enjoys inspirational and self-development tips, Lyrics and Lattes podcast is perfect. Join hosts Jason and Trevor as they sip the newest brew while extracting life lessons, wisdom, and self-development tips from your favorite hip-hop songs. Freaking awesome. And when I heard this thing for the first time, I met Jason on Clubhouse. When I heard his podcast for the first time, I thought, man, that's freaking awesome. What a cool concept. So it's an upbeat podcast that helps listeners discover inspirational gems and hidden advice in popular songs that can be applied to everyday life. How freaking cool is that? How freaking cool is that? So here's what Jason and I are going to do. I've always been fascinated by lyrics, but I'm more fascinated by the artists and their story. And I like the artists telling their story of failure and triumph and dedication and discipline and, fear. I love that when they tell that story through the lyrics, right? So Metallica is a band, James Hetfield tells a lot of pain in his lyrics. And it's so cool that they take those lyrics, that pain in life, and Jay-Z's another one. They take that pain, they form these lyrics, they form these songs, they become very popular, and then it drives them to other things, which is freaking amazing. So Jason and I are going to break down a bunch of songs today. They happen to be all hip-hop songs, but it doesn't matter what genre it is. You can literally break down lyrics from any genre that you like, but find the hidden meaning in them. So today we're going to break down from Nipsey Hussle, from Ciara, from Snoop Dogg, from Jay-Z, and Kanye, and we're going to talk about what they mean on paper, right? Like what's the obvious meaning, but also we're going to break down what the depth of that meaning is, how you might be able to apply it to your life. So I named this episode Lessons in Lyrics because I want people to understand that music's not just about entertainment. It's telling you a story. And most of these big people, like a guy like Jay-Z or Ice Cube or Metallica or Garth Brooks, these guys are juggernauts in their trade, in their field. They're not speaking for nothing. Listen carefully because what you're hearing is gold in their lyrics. and it'll help guide you. So sometimes these songs can be your own personal development book, or a part of it could be entertaining and personal development. So listen, sit back, relax, enjoy, take your notepad out, because we talk about some really deep stuff for an hour. This is the Men on Purpose and Lyrics and Lattes joint episode. Enjoy. All right, Jason, let's do this, man. Cool concept. I just kind of went over the overview and the intro, but like, I love what you're doing, and I wanted to figure out how to incorporate it on this show. And so today,
let's do it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're taking action, man.
Lyrics and latte style. Let's make it happen.
We are two men on purpose that are gonna break down song lyrics because of their purposeful nature, and find their purposeful nature and what the artist actually was intending to talk about. And maybe it's misinterpreted by the public, but we're catching what they're saying. That's super cool. So, all right, let's roll, man. Let's roll. First one is,
let's roll.
So, audience, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna play the lyric, and then Jason and I are gonna break it down in what they're saying. The whole point is that when you're listening to songs, it's not just about entertainment. It's about the artist's struggle, perseverance, dedication, discipline, whatever it might be. They're telling you a story. And it doesn't have to be rap. Like, we're talking about hip-hop today, but it can be in any genre of music, right? Like, you're telling a story of somebody's breakthrough and being like, I don't know.
Yeah. And let me explain why we do hip hop, right? So hip hop is different because specifically, like growing up, I'm from a community in which, a lot of the motivational gurus don't look like me. They're not from where I'm from. So growing up, like, I listened to Ice Cube and I pulled truth from it. I listened to Tupac Shakur and I pulled truth from it. So when Andre 3000 says you're only as funky as your last cut, you focus on the past, you bound to be a has-what. Yeah, I hear that, and I hear that sometimes that my successes now can stop me from getting to my successes later because I'm so stuck at my current success. And a lot of people just kind of skim over it, and it's like, no, this is so much depth in what these artists are talking about. So I'm happy to sit here with you and do it.
This is awesome. All right, so the first one we've got up here is, and by the way, I have always found this fascinating. It's just like, it's kind of like what you said, but those guys who I'm like listening to intently, like I've been listening to Ice Cube since I was a kid. I told you my dad bought me Doggy Style when I was 10 years old. I really enjoyed that, but I didn't just enjoy it for the entertainment of the music. I got that. But I actually liked the storytelling. I like to hear that. Like, I'm deep into Wu-Tang American Saga on Hulu, and I don't care who it is, man. I want to see how you got to where you are. I want to see the determination and the breakdowns and the breakthroughs. Like, I don't care who you are. The Garth Brooks documentary was awesome. The Wu-Tang Saga is awesome. Like, I just want to see people who say, I'm not staying here. I'll do whatever it takes for however long it takes, and I'm coming up and out. And this thing, mainly music, this is going to get me out. Or like in the Michael Jordan documentary, basketball for him, Scottie Pippen, all those guys had a ton of pain, and they used basketball to get out of that pain that they were in. And that's what we're talking about here, is music helped them solve their pain and got them to a place that is like, look at Jay-Z, man. The guy's a billionaire.
Yeah. I mean, what you're talking about, 10 years old for Doggy Style is a pretty irresponsible decision there. It's a little, but I get the focus of what you're saying though. But Doggy Style at 10 is a bit rough.
My dad is just so liberal, I guess. Like, he's like, that's what you want? Cool.
Yeah.
And like, I remember we were talking about the other day when we were together, we were we were in LA and we passed Tower Records. He goes, do you remember when I used to take you for like album releases, like the Black Album, Metallica's Black Album? Like, we waited in line for 3 hours that morning and got the CD. And I was like, yeah, I do remember that, at Sam Goody down in, a mile from my house here. Same place that I bought all those things. I don't know why. I just enjoyed it. And there were I wasn't a huge music fan, but there were people that I was a really big fan of. And juxtaposed,
Yeah.
Metallica and Snoop Dogg were one of them, and Ice Cube was one of them too, big time. Do it, man.
Cool. Let's get into it. So the first one we have here is Level Up by Ciara. We're going to be talking about some personal development tips. Let's cue it up.
Yeah, I mean, the song says it all. Like, just the title alone, Level Up. Like, how could it not? You know?
I mean, yeah, Level Up is, and it's like what is crazy is that like what she's talking about is that, she was with Future, who was in her past, which is kind of a bar right there. But which she was Future, and now she's with Russell Wilson, and she's leveling up her life. She's and she doesn't really care about what you have to say about it. I think one of the lines from it is, you can talk about me all that you want. But me, I see greater. There's nothing I'm afraid of, and
Yes.
I can have it all. Like, this is something you hear in the club, but she's saying there's nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. And that just, you take so much truth in that. Like, it takes so much, like, there's nothing, if you don't allow your fear to cripple you, there's
true,
nothing
man.
that you can't have.
Dude, what that reminds me of, there's another line that I really like, but what that I can have it all reminds me of is that society often puts a lot of constraints on how high you can rise, right? A lot of constraints. And it's not society's
yeah.
fault. It's the people that don't believe that they can actually get there, and they will pull your ass down like crabs in a bucket. I was just having this conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine. How do you keep crabs in the bucket? Put more crabs in there and they'll all keep each other down, right? So like this kind of thing, I can have it all. When somebody says that, the first thing that most of society thinks is you're greedy, you're money hungry, you're overbearing, or like you're selfish. But why can't you have it all? If you can remove distractions from your life and say, I want all of that. Like I said 2 years ago, I want to get out of the trouble I was in with an ex-business partner that stole a ton of money. People know that story. And I want it all. I want the life. I want the t-shirt every day. I want jeans. I want to move to California. I want to have my 2 kids hanging out with me every day, going to cool schools, traveling the world as our playground and our classroom. I want it all. And I want the free time to be able to do it, and the cash flow to be able to fund it. And that is fine. You can have it all. But you got to remove the distractions that actually are holding you back, mostly in your mind and then in your physical environment, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You got to level up. You got to level up. You can't just you can't just sit with the mindset that you currently have and not read or not and not grow, because where you are and where all the work that you've done to be where you are may not be what you need to take you to the next place. I love what your breakdown of wanting it all, because sometimes wanting it all, especially for like, Ciara, is a mom, right? So wanting it all for ladies could just be, I want to be a good mom and a good business person, and a good wife, and just be able to spend and be able to, make do everything I got to do around the house. And all could be, all is defined by you.
Right.
All is not defined by society. What is your definition of all?
Yeah.
And why can't you have
Why
it?
can't you? That's
Why
the
can't
question
you
to
have it?
ask. Let's break this grouping down. So it says, I just keep elevating, no losses, just upgrading. That first line right there means there's no such thing as failure, because she doesn't stay down. She's getting knocked down, getting back up, and keep rolling. So I just keep elevating. Like I'm pushing, I'm elevating my circle, my friend circle, my inner circle. I'm elevating my education. I'm elevating my money. I'm elevating my environments. Like I'm elevating my look. I'm elevating everything about me, and I'm not taking any losses. There's nothing that registers as a loss here. It's just, I'm just going to continue to upgrade. And there's only losses if you think they're a loss. Other than that, they're a lesson. It's a lesson or a win. Yep.
That's a bar. That's a bar. That's something we say on the show. When you say something like that's a bar right there. That's lessons
No,
or
dude,
a win.
you
I love it. I
learn
love it.
Or you win. There's no fail unless you just sit on your ass and cry yourself to sleep and just remain in the corner. You can't fail if you get back up, because then you just take, unless you're really dumb and you don't take the lessons you just learned, you get punched the same way in the same place by the same guy, then it's on you. And now you got to change something again. But yeah, dude, it's you win or you learn. There's no failure unless you don't get back up.
Yeah, there's so many lines about that. You know, it's you not taking losses, you're just taking lessons. Kendrick Lamar got one on Dedication, and Jay-Z got one on 444. Like it's the people that win. You think people that win, people think that they haven't lost before, and it's like, no, they win because they lost. They win because they lost. And that loss allowed them to get the experience and the traction and the know-how to know how to win. Because they didn't see that loss as a loss. They saw it as a stepping stone to get to where nobody jumps. Nobody great. There's nobody that's great that started off great. Like, everybody has to start off at a certain level, take a couple of losses,
dude,
and then level up.
Arnold Schwarzenegger says this best. Well, maybe not best, but it's just something that sticks out of my mind. He also says that there's nobody that's self-made. No one is self-made, because there's somebody, a teacher, a parent, a bus driver, somebody helped you just level up in some capacity. Somebody taught you something that you wouldn't have been able to learn on your own in that time frame. So there's no self-made people. And I was a real estate agent for a very long time with Keller Williams, and I'm not a real estate agent anymore in Baltimore, but I do a lot of real estate stuff in California. And Gary Keller, the owner of Keller Williams, pretty profound guy. I mean, he was a disruptor in that industry, in the real estate sales industry. And he always said, one of the biggest things that you may not think is a benefit of joining this company is we're going to educate you so hard that you're going to be able to fail faster and get farther faster. And that's it. Like, the faster you fail,
exactly,
the farther you get quicker. And so you have to fail. You must mess things up. Systems have to break, or how will you know how to fix them, or how will you know to upgrade them or to change them, right? You just don't. You won't unless you break them. Factories, everything, they have to break.
Yeah, and in addition to like being one half of Lyrics and Lattes podcast, like, I also started a nonprofit some time ago, and what it does, it works with kids with activities, and teaches them about careers by playing games. But one of the things I learned is that we tested the same exact games with the children that we do with the adults, and the children are always doing it faster. They're always more successful than the adults, because the adults take time to plan and write it out and get each other's ideas. And the kids are trial, error. And they're failing to get to the point of success. And I learned a lot through that. I learned a lot of, like, you can sit here and research and learn and read as many books and do all of the things that you need to do to feel like you are prepared. But some of the best learnings come from trial
learning.
And error.
Like, think about in college. How did you go to college? Yeah, you went to college. Yeah, you went to. I was gonna say you went to.
Yeah, got my shirt on. Howard University. Yeah.
You live in DC. That's what it was. Yeah, you live in DC. Yeah. Yep.
I live in DC. Yeah.
Right.
The illustrious Howard University. I'm sorry.
How much stuff do you learn? Do you use from college? Except the stuff that you like relationship things, friendship things, communication.
It's crazy. I have a marketing degree before social media was even a thing. So it's like, what am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do?
You and I are the same age, I think, like late 30s.
Yeah, 36. Yeah. I'm 36. Yeah,
and I have a marketing degree as well, and I can't do anything. I mean, I'm sure I could, but I'm not into that. But like, you're right. I literally got out of school in 2004, and in 2006, Facebook came, and everything was like, what do I do?
They didn't teach us this.
Do I get
not in the textbooks?
Like, do I get money back or anything? Do I get more classes, or what's the deal? Nothing.
Imagine learning marketing, and Instagram doesn't exist. Facebook doesn't exist. TikTok, all these things that like where 90% of people's attention is now at. You learned on newspapers, and like, what am I going to do with this
print
thing?
Media? Yeah, dude.
The newspaper is about as worthless as a degree that we now have with this marketing degree.
That's right. I remember, like, we did this class. I hated it. I would always say to the professor, "Are you serious? Do I really have to do this? Like, for my grade?" And we would like mock up ad copy And I don't know where you would do that today. I don't know. I mean, because you can't mock up a Facebook ad. You can't change it up. Facebook knows what works. You fill in the blanks and they do it. So, yeah, I digress, man. That's very interesting. But my real education came when I actually got out of college. I got schooling in college. I got an education when I got out of college. That's the biggest difference.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
Man, I might try and set a record here today. Let's take the next one out, man.
Cool. The next one, we're talking about committing to yourself. Yep. So the next one is Most Kings by Jay-Z. Let's play it. He said, everybody look at you strange, say you change, like you worked that hard to stay the same. What you pull from that?
Dude, it's right there. You can't, it's right there. And in all honesty, I'm guessing that you have been through this and experienced this, but friends from the past, it's probably the ones that you feel uncomfortable around who are like, man, you're different. And like, yeah, I'm different. Like what? My hairstyle, my glasses, my beard. No, man, your whole demeanor, like you're not like you used to be. And I told you before we started the interview, there was an interview with Jay-Z like a long time ago. It was on MTV, so it was like a while ago, in which he said he has like this crew that runs with him from the old neighborhood, like guys he brought with him, but he left a couple guys behind because they just could not bear to see him grow and evolve and elevate himself. And he said they used to say like, man, dude, you've changed, bro. Like you're not the same dude from the hood, from the street. And he was like, what do you think? I worked this hard to stay the same? What do you like? You think I want that life? I mean, I did what I had to do. But here's the thing that I really love. For a guy like Jay-Z, like I've researched, I've read a lot about Jay-Z. I'm fascinated by him as just the man he is, the person he is, the father, the entrepreneur, the billionaire, like the artist. He's a fascinating guy. And he did an interview on Howard Stern a couple years ago. Really good interview. And he said something interesting, which I loved, which was rap for him was the means to an end. It was a springboard to what he really wanted to do. And that if he walked off the street and walked into a boardroom, he could probably hang for a while, but no one would take him seriously. So once he became this mogul in entertainment, had the money, the cred, all that stuff, then he could walk into a boardroom and people were like, all ears on him, all eyes on him, all focus on him, because this dude makes other people a lot of money. So when he talks, you listen. And he had to earn that from what he did, where we really know him from, which is music. And I think that's really cool because most of us, myself included, real estate for me was the means to an end. Real estate for me was to get me to evolve myself, get out of my own way, eliminate distractions so that I could open up my coaching business to the worldwide platform it is now and not just leave it as, coaching like 5 to 10 people a month, kind of privately, referral based only. Like now the brand is out. The Man on Purpose brand is out. The coaching business is out there. Like it's big. So unfortunately, I think the other thing he's saying there is you're going to have to drop people every once in a while who just aren't willing to come with you,
Yeah. And it's not even about you dropping people. It's about people just naturally falling off. Like as you rise up, some people just can't go with you. I mean, Jay-Z, for instance, you had a good point when you said that, Jay-Z's kind of just diversified himself. But like Jay-Z, if you look at, I think I looked at his wealth, and 6% of it came from like his music discography and his rap.
Yeah.
6%. The majority is like business deals. Like it just allowed him to go into certain rooms, but he was able to elevate and do different things. But like that, I have a friend of mine, and I remember I went to college and I came back home. They're still there in the same spots, and I remember this because I remember like I don't even have to call to see if they're home. I know they're home. Like I know they're home, and I remember they They were like, "Hey, what do you?" I was like, "What do you guys want to do? Let's go hang out. I ain't seen you guys in a long time." And they were like, "Hey, let's go to the mall and walk around and holler at girls." And I'm like, "Y'all still doing that? Like that's what we did in high school. Like we just walk around in circles and pretend to talk to girls because everybody's too afraid to do it." And he was like, you know, like, "Hey man, you change, you're supposed to change. You're supposed to upgrade. You're supposed to grow. I'm not supposed to be the exact same person that I was in high school. Like, you know, those, I call them Al Bundy people, right? If how I view my networks and my friends is like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the future, the present, or the past? Usually the present is pretty consistent. People talk about the present and that's fine, right? But if you have friends that are always talking about the present and the past, the Al Bundys, I scored 4 touchdowns in one game back in Polk High, like in Polk High football, like, and you got all the same high school friends that went to the same high school dances, and it shows you where your mindset is. It shows you where you are. You're stuck in this place of the past of your glory days or just remembering what happened, this nostalgia, and it's preventing you from seeing the future. What I try to have is friends that allow me to see, you know, number one, my present, you know, it's always important, but more importantly, the future. Where are we going? Where am I going? Where are you going? Because that allows me to consistently level myself up and go in you know, and see where I am to be where I want to be in the future. So you know, watch your friends, and then watch, you know, and watch your, you know, what you listen to. But it's like you can't stay the same. Like you cannot take you to where you want to be. Where you are, who you are today cannot go with you to where you want to be. That's a bar.
Yeah, dude, we're talking bars all over the place.
You gotta level your. Yeah, you gotta grow. You gotta grow, and you gotta, you know, consistently elevate yourself. And this is what Jay-Z is talking about. He has another line where he says, in that PSA song, he says, I don't have the lyric on me because I ain't pull it up. But what he's talking about is that when you're in a particular room, you can't change who you are when you go to this room. Like you can't just wear a different outfit and show up. You have to literally, you know, reinvent yourself by growing, by reading, by just, you know, stepping your game up.
Dude, we're going to do another one of these. I'm making a commitment right now as long as you're good with it. Because I really want to break down Jay-Z lyrics. I'm fascinated with this guy. I'm fascinated with him. And this shit is so poetic because I'm looking at the history lyrics right here. It's one of my favorite songs. Like, it makes me emotional when I hear it because I can hear his emotion. I can hear that he went through this. It's not just a made up word when he was sitting in a Malibu beach house. You know, he went through this and he's putting this onto paper. And the reason why I think him and Ice Cube and Dre and Eminem and those kind of guys and Tupac and Biggie are so big is because they figured out how to hit your frequency of what you're actually going through in the beat and the cadence and the speed and the tempo of how you want to hear it. And that's just, it sounds like duh, but it's a formula that those guys nailed, that other guys didn't nail. Maybe they got a little popular, but they didn't nail it. You know what I mean? Like, Little John got popular for screaming some stuff. His stuff is cool as shit to party to, but he's not really telling you anything of substance. So,
What? Okay, sorry. It was,
you know what I mean? Like, it just, it's interesting. At there are crossroads. Leaving high school, leaving college, I think getting married, moving, having your first kid, I think those are crossroads where we have to realize that I think it's maybe harder for us. Some people aren't coming with us. You don't have to get rid of people. You have to be okay with the fact that they're not coming along, that they're just not willing to grow. They're not willing to change and push themselves, and they'd rather go to the mall and you know, run around with literally nothing to do except go to the food court and hit on girls. You know what I mean? Like, and that has its time and a place. Maybe when you're like 15, not 35, but like nothing wrong with that. That's what you do. Exactly. But you're not you're right. You're not thinking about, I love that, dude. That Al Bundy thing is so true. By the way, you know, that show would never, ever fly today. Like, my dad and I, so another thing my dad let me watch when I was a kid. Like, I I don't know how that show like didn't get yanked off the air, but had some big milestones, had some really cool like advancements, especially like Amanda Beard, first lesbian woman on a sitcom, like great cool stuff. But I don't know, that show would never last today ever.
I mean, just the sheer time he spends talking about oversized women. I mean, I think I think that just that alone is like, okay,
No,
that's
I'm
a
just
bit
gonna
much.
say
Or remember the No Ma'am group, and they were just like, no ma'am,
But
no
you know
ma'am.
what-
It's just like, I know it's crazy.
Good.
I met
Go ahead.
what?
Oh, you
No, I
did?
met Griff one time. Like I lived. I'm from Southern California, so like the Hollywood, and so you see celebrities from time to time, and I'm
Yeah.
usually unbothered by seeing a celebrity. Like I'm like, okay, that's that guy. I'm not really shaken. But when I saw Griff sitting there, I was so excited. Griff is this friend
Yeah.
that was a shoe salesman, the black dude. Yeah, I was so excited to meet Griff. It was like I took a picture with
Has
him.
that
It was
guy
a big
been
day
on
for me.
anything else? Whatever. He's getting
I
residual
don't think
money.
so.
He's getting
I
mailbox
don't think
money.
so. I
That's
think it's
cool.
just Griff.
Whatever. That's so funny, man.
Yeah,
All right, well, let's
that's
tee up
cool.
the next one. I got the title. I'm not going to tell you. I'll surprise you on the title for this episode. All right, so the next one's going to be. While you're queuing that up, let me just say, don't ever be afraid to move on from people. I have had some heartache moving on from people in my past that I really cared about that just were not willing to do the work on themselves. They weren't willing to grow, and that's okay. Not everybody has to grow to the level that you're growing to, but they have to be committed to evolvement in some capacity. And I had to let some people go, and honestly, they're back in my life now because they made some calls and to me and they said, look, I need your help. Like, I think you're right. I need to level my stuff up. I can't be Al Bundy and living at my 4 touchdowns in one game from Polk High. Like, I'm not 22 anymore. I'm 45. I need to step up. Can you help me?
Yeah.
No problem. All I need is that coachability, willingness, great attitude. No problem. You can roll with me. You don't have to. It's not a money-driven thing or a success-driven thing. It's a personal accountability to your own evolvement thing. Yeah, hit it.
Got it. Yeah, and the lyric is we took it back. We
Okay.
took it back. We're gonna go with Houdini, Friends.
Dude, one of the
Friends.
corniest.
How many of us have them?
So corny.
Ones we
Such a
can
corny
depend on.
song. Oh my god. Such a corny song. No, I know.
But
I
it's
know.
of the times.
I thought
The
it was
times
corny
is-
way
this
back
is-
when. It's interesting because that line is so true. It'll never tire. The way that song's assembled will tire, but those lines, in my book, it'll tire because I'm like, God, that's so corny. But
Yeah.
I know, dude.
It's 84.
It's like a Casio.
84. Like we took it back.
Like a Casio piano with a tape recorder running next to it. But dude, what ones you can depend on? Friends. Like, how many of us have them? That's kind of like what we were talking about before, which is, do you actually know who your friends are? And do you have a barometer or a gauge on the people and the company that you keep? That's what I feel like is a deeper level there, which is you can't run with everybody. You can't have 150 friends. You just can't. You can't manage that level of time commitment. You'll have your group that you'll get together with. There's 30 people. Cool. Hey, buddy, slap by, whatever. But then there's that, like, how many can you count on? And it's probably 5, maybe 10, right? Maybe 10. Really count on. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I also see it the
Yeah.
other way around. Like,
Good
how many
point.
people can count on you? Like, are you being a friend? Like, it's like one of the best
Totally.
ways is to get friends is to be a friend. Like, are you listening? Are you being committed to other people? Are you in the room figuring out ways where the conversation isn't about you, what you're doing is about them and what they're doing? Like, how are you being
Yeah.
friendly enough where people want to be friends with you? And something you can't depend on. I can't.
No.
If I can't depend on you, you can't be a friend. if I can't expect you to, DMX has this thing. He says he doesn't trust people. He trusts what he believes about people or what he knows what he expects him to do. So it's like, when I think about who I need to call for something, am I going to think about you? Am I going to be like, is this person not reliable? Like, we can't be friends. We can be associates. You can be somebody that I know and that I speak to, but can we be friends? Can you come to my house and, break bread? Like, no. Like, I got to be able to depend on you because I'm at a point in my life to where I'm married with kids. Like, I need somebody dependable. Like, my life is just different. Like, I don't think the same way. Like,
the way that I gauge friendships, like really close friendships, is if I have to think, if I really need something and I call you, just because I'm a high level coach and podcast host doesn't mean I don't have my problems. I mean, I got tons of problems like everybody does, tons of challenges inside that I have to solve, emotions and things like that. I need to be able to not think what you're going to think if I'm going to call you, right? I need to know that when I pick up and I'm like, yo, dude, or send a text, yo, dude, I need a little, like, give me like 10 minutes. I need to talk to you about something deep. And that person's immediate, like, got you. I'm clearing my schedule. You got 30 minutes, right now, or wait later, I can go 2 hours. And I never in my mind have to think like, I can't be authentic. I can't be vulnerable. They're going to judge me. Sometimes I may hold things back because I know what someone's trauma is. And if I come at them in like a really aggressive manner, I might trigger their trauma, which might not help me. So like, that's not reciprocal. I have to bring it in the way that they're going to be able to receive it to be able to help me the best way. But I have like a dating profile for friends, like for really close people. And one of the biggest things is, does this person honor their word? Do they have integrity? That's the biggest thing, man. Because listen, we all are human. We all forget about stuff, and we drop the ball occasionally, but it's how you respond to that. And like, this guy has a track record of honoring his word. Yeah, of course he's human. He forgets some shit, or his iPhone died or whatever. It's okay. But does he have a track record of integrity and honoring a commitment? And that's the thing that really matters to me.
Yeah, and you brought up gin and juice. You brought up Snoop Dogg earlier. You brought up Snoop Dogg Doggy Style. So we had to bring in some gin and juice from the Doggy Style album when we're talking about friends here. Let's cue that up.
I got me some Seagram's gin. Everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. Now this types of shit happens all the time. You gotta get yours before I gotta get mine.
So this line was like slept on because it was just, you just kind of rocking your head to it. But when he said, I got some Seagram's gin, everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. Like, how many friends do you have in your circle? They got their cups out, they got their hands out, but they ain't doing nothing to support you. One of the things that, like, what happens is, like, you get this thing with this air about you when you leave, like, for instance, from my community, you leave poverty and you get to a certain level of success. Everybody got their cups out, but they ain't chipped in. They're not doing the work. They're not here. They're not with me shooting in the gym. You're not here doing the same things that I'm doing, but you expect me to give you a handout. And it happens all of the time. Like, you got to get yours before I got to get mine. And it's like, one thing I learned from my dad is that you never give somebody your seeds, right? You can give out your harvest, but you don't give out your seeds, because what happens is that you give out your seed and somebody will just eat that. They don't know how to plant things. They don't know how to grow something into a harvest. But once you grow it and it becomes plentiful, you can give a little bit of that out. But it's like, you got to be mindful about who you have in your circle, because what happens is, one of my favorite battle rappers, he said, the reason you in bad shape is because you got a lot of squares in your circle. And that's a bar.
That's a bar.
It's a bar.
Your seed thing is a bar too. You need to redo that, because my editors are going to catch every time you say that's a bar. So say the seats thing again, because that's a bar. So don't give people.
Yeah, my dad taught me. He was like, when you want to help people, because everybody, you got somebody in your family, somebody in your friends network that you want to support or help when they're in bad times. You never give out your seed. You don't give out your seed, you give out your harvest, because the person you're giving your seed to may just eat that and still be hungry. They don't know how to plant it to get a harvest. So you have to you have to plant your seed, get your harvest, and then give out some of your harvest. And then now it's bountiful. You can give out more, and then that harvest produces more seeds that you could put back into the ground. You put your seeds into the ground and you get your harvest into people, not the other way around.
Love it. Yeah, that's a bar, man. That's a bar for sure. Yeah,
thank you.
That's such a great way of thinking about it. I mean, what you're like, it makes perfect sense. Those lyrics make perfect sense. Like, he's at a party, he walks in with Seagram's gin. Everybody's like, yo, can I get some? And he's like, man, I haven't even gotten mine yet. Chill out.
Yeah.
But I love how you took it deeper than that, which is, did you actually chip in here to my success? Like, you got your hand out. You want to come hang out in my pool. You want to ride in my car. You want to take advantage of the life that I've built. But did you actually have a hand in it? And not the hand in like helping me build my business or helping me on those nights, long nights or Sundays when I worked all day. But did you actually support me intellectually, mentally, emotionally? Were you calling and like, yo, can I do anything for you? You want to go out and just chill out with me and go play golf or something, or go take a swim, or like, were you there for me? Because you really haven't chipped in on the emotional, physical, or mental level to be able for me to dish out what I've got now.
Definitely. I mean, that believing in you. So many people, like, I mean, number one, I don't think you should expect people to believe in you, because some people who don't believe in you don't even believe in themselves. But like, did you even believe in me? Did you? Nelly got a song where he says, people most said that I was a failure. He said, Nelly, can I get tickets to the next show? He's like, hell no. You for real? It's like, you didn't even believe in me, but now you want tickets to the next show. How that even look? How does that even look? And it's like, when I was at the bottom, was you riding with me? When I was shooting in the gym, was you shooting with me? Was you here in the background cheering for me? And when Snoop Dogg is talking about in this line, it went so fast. It went so fast, but it's like everybody got their cups out, but they ain't chipped in. Right. You ain't getting none of this. Ain't getting none of this. But you gonna have to chip in on one way or another.
It goes much deeper than just that gin that's in his hand. Like, much deeper.
Exactly.
Much deeper. And I think that transcends decades too, because there's probably people. And that goes for, family members especially. I remember on the Defiant ones, great documentary if you've never seen it. It's about Dre and Jimmy Iovine and their Dre's rise, Jimmy's rise in Interscope Records, and how they came together. And I love Jimmy's lines, man. He said, always be of service. I don't care how rich I get. I'll always be of service. And he wants to be a producer of producers, not a manager of artists. And that's how he built Interscope to what it was. That's why he had Nine Inch Nails had their own label. Death Row Records had its own label underneath Interscope. Like, it just worked. So, like, we hear this. Gin and Juice is an iconic song. Unless you're like under 10 years old today, you probably heard Gin and Juice. You know exactly what's going on when it comes on. There's nothing like it. But maybe you've never looked at it that deep, and that's why we're pulling these things up, because that is the depth to that kind of thing. Like, you giving me nothing, and do that Nelly line is perfect. I think about that all the time when people are like, yo, can I come and visit you in California? And I'm like, I haven't talked to you in 5 years. Yeah. You can come to California, and we could, like, grab coffee, but you can't come to visit me. Like, hell no. Are you for real? Like,
you for real?
Now that I'm a fly guy and I fly high, come on, man. No.
You want to know why? Look at you! Look at you!
I love Nelly, man. Nelly in Kevin Hart's show, Real Husbands of Hollywood, is freaking hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah, he's hilarious in that. Yep. It was hilarious. I had that same scenario. So one thing about me you may not know is I used to work at the White House. I used to work at the White House. Yeah, I used to travel with the president and first lady, and like all around the world. And I would have people that I haven't talked to in decades, that, teachers that like didn't even support me, that may have, just done terrible things when I was a child, reaching out to ask for a White House tour or to get a picture or do something like this. And it's like, heck no, you for real? Like the same Nelly. But what I actually did, let them come through and let them show out a little bit, because, I'm bigger than that. But yeah, it's a mindset about just, make sure that people chip in. Otherwise, you get your Seagram's gin and you start pouring into everybody's cup, and you look at the gin and it's gone, and there's no more left for you, and they done drank it all up, and they back to what they was doing, You know, now you got to go back to the store by yourself. They're not going to go to the store
No.
with you to get more.
No.
So you have to continuously re-up, and then give it out. What they were trying to do was take his seed, you know, and it was like, nah, you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to wait until I mix this with something and you can get that harvest.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about alcohol, but I think I broke that down. I
think
don't
you
know.
did. I think you did. I mean, and then the other thing is, like, that kind of goes to, there's two things there. One is there are some people that you knew supported you but never said anything. And there's an ego piece that you kind of have to put away when those people surface, because the universe brings people back, maybe to test you or maybe to say, like, hey, this person needs you right now. And there's somebody in my life that came back after about 20 years, right? I knew him when I was about 18, 19 years old, and we didn't really get along, but this person always said things to me that were like, cool, wow, I didn't know you thought that about me. Like, just a supportive, but like an 18-year-old or 19-year-old supportive person would do. And they came back into my life, and they just shot me an Instagram message and said, hey, I love the podcast. I've been listening. It's really beneficial. Like, it's helped my marriage. And I wrote back, and I was like, hey, man, that's awesome. Like, how are you doing? And he's like, to tell you the truth, I'm not doing that great. And you didn't support me like I think I want people to support me. Like, I want the support. But you did, because there were times when I needed those words, and you were just there for those words. And maybe it was only a couple times, but it really counted. And I said, dude, I got you, man. So hit me up, book a call with me. I'll walk you through some stuff. I'll give you my purpose-driven formula for free. Like, whatever I can do to help you, like, I got you. And the guy's doing well now, because sometimes you just have to put the ego away and say, all right, universe, this person's back into my life. Let me figure out why, you know?
Yeah, this is on our show. What we do is we do this all the time, folks. On Lyrics and Lattes, we literally break down lyrics on every episode. What we also do is that every time somebody says something that matches a lyric, we also play it like in post production. So when you said ego, we're gonna put Beyonce right there. We're gonna cut you off, put in Beyonce, and it came back to what you was talking about again. But yeah, man, what you're talking about is deep, because you know that book 5 Love Languages. People stop there. There's like love languages there's languages for apologies, right? There's languages for support.
Yeah. Good point.
Like because I think for me and my wife, right, she would support me in a way that I didn't receive it, and it was hard for me to see that she was supporting me, because I need you to physically be there. I need you to listen to this thing. I need you to. But she was like, she's supporting me by helping me buy the stuff and helping me organize the stuff. But like, you're not going to listen to the podcast. That's not support to me. So it's like figuring out like, how do people show support and how do you receive support when you're looking for that.
Yeah,
piece.
and you may not know how you need that support, but that person filled it in, and you don't even feel the dip because they filled the pothole in. But like, if they hadn't have done that, like my wife does small things that she thinks are small, but they're really big to clear my way for me to come and do this with a full focused mind, versus like, man, I got 50 things to do today. Oh my God, how am I going to get all this done? And that's going to take my mind share up for these episodes. It's going to take my mind share up even just a little bit for my coaching sessions, which I owe the very best on this. Coaching sessions, I owe the world my best. I can't be tired and thinking about 50 million things. Just can't. So I agree with that. And then kind of what you were saying is like the teach a man to fish versus give a man a fish. You know what I mean? Like the planting seeds and giving crop from the harvest versus just being like, all right, man, look here. But don't come back to me if you're hungry later. You know, you're going, just chill.
Yeah.
I got you. But like, I got to plant these things first. So it's going to give you some time to actually find out about me before I start supporting you with something. Like, let's make it reciprocal here. And now you actually find out if somebody's authentic or not, or they're just in it for the wrong reasons. Yep.
Yeah, making people wait. I mean, that patience of waiting too, like waiting for that harvest. When people ask me for money, people that I know that need it, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to write you a check. You know, it's going to take 7 days to get there. And they be like, oh, I don't need it then. Like, you need it right now. Like, I'm not a right now solution. I can get you in 7 days. If you can wait 7 days, which they normally can't. But yeah, I love this. And the coaching thing, I do the coaching thing. What kind of coaching
Personal
do you
development. I build people's businesses for them. I break down businesses. I do CEO for hire stuff. So any industry, literally. Like, we do real estate. We do, you name it.
Got it. Yeah, I do. I just started my coaching practice, and it's it's specifically within the nonprofit sector, though. Specifically in nonprofit. I stay
Dude,
there
it's the only
for
thing
the
that I've
social
ever
entrepreneurs.
felt fulfilled by. And not to be like cheesy, but I sold real estate because I love the clients and I love the money. This, when you think about it, if I said, if the $10 million hit my bank account right now, popped up on the screen, I wouldn't get off this podcast. And if you said, bro, can we do another one in a month?
Yeah.
The answer is yes, no matter how much money is in my account. I might just be doing it from a little different house. I might do it I might have a little different camera or a microphone or something, but that's the only thing that would change. And with that 10 million, I'd still be on these coaching calls. I'd still be helping people that are like, dude, can you like, I don't have any money right now. Can you help me? Like, can you give me 20 minutes? I'm happy to. Like that it's what drives me. It fulfills me. I found my passion within it. I never knew that passion came from the inside. I always thought that something would drive you to get into it, but I was wrong. That was something different. I found my passion within coaching when I started coaching, 8-9 years ago. And then as it grew and I saw people were really gaining something from me and from my dedication and my commitment, like I tripled down, all chips in on me. Like I bet everything on that line, man. And it, it's turned out really well because it's very authentic. I like what I do for the world. It's awesome,
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Let's our next.
So you want to go to Kanye or you want to go to Nipsey Hussle? Kanye's easy, man.
You want to skip Kanye because it's too easy? Too easy for you?
I mean, the Kanye lyric is "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger."
Yeah.
Like
That's easy.
and that's easy. Like
You want the hard lyric? Okay, we'll go to the hard one.
But that's real. Like you have to understand. That's the same thing we were talking about failure. Like if it's not going to kill you, get into it, fail through it, learn your lessons, and move on from it because you cannot move to the next level. You cannot move to the next elevation if you don't know the climb from the first 20 feet. You can't climb 40 to 60 if you didn't climb the first 20. If you don't know how to put pitons into a wall, if you don't know how to lead climb, run your chalk, if you don't know how to climb in altitude or properly hydrate from just climbing 20s all the time, then you're never going to know. You also don't know, you don't want to fall 30 feet between your little hooks in the rock at 100 feet. You'd rather fall 10 feet at 20 feet because your brain's going to register a lot differently.
Yeah, and the outcome is a lot less impact.
Right. You may pee yourself a little bit.
Figuratively and literally.
Yes, literally. Yeah. So no, dude, let's do Nipsey Hussle because that's a complicated lyric and it's really in depth.
I love that you want the complicated stuff, right? Because we break
not,
down
dude?
because in our show, like we don't do choruses. We break down like Nas's fourth track, halfway through the verse. Like this is good. Here it goes. This is Nipsey Hussle dedication. Let's play it.
Lock us behind gates, but can't tame us. Used to be stay safe, now stay dangerous. Cause ain't no point playing defense. That's why I dove off the deep end without a life jacket. Couple mil, toured the world, all my life crack.
There it is. Nipsey Hussle, folks.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's like the lyrics do say it, but then there's also more depth, like Gin and Juice. But Gin and Juice isn't like lyrics like this.
Yeah,
Gin
he's
and Juice
actually
is like,
saying. Gin and Juice is like we had to kind of pull it a
apart.
different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like, first off, if you haven't heard Dedication, go back and listen to it. His verse and Kendrick Lamar verse was just ridiculous.
Yeah, we should probably break that down too. But
it was
no
good.
time left on this one. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar is another one of those guys. It's so deep.
Yeah, you might have to cut out the couple of the N words in this, but I'm not gonna, but what it is that he says, the line that I took from this is that he says, "Cause ain't no point in playing defense. That's why I dove off the deep end." Right? There was some N words in there. I skipped that, but but like if you're playing defense all the time, you can't, like, where are you gonna go playing defense? You got to play offense. You got to look at what you want and how are you gonna get there, not just how do you keep what you have. keeping what you have and not taking risks is one of the sure ways of staying where you are. You got to take a risk if you want to go to the next level. And he said diving off the deep end, like he's diving off a deep end without a life jacket. There's the next line.
Yep.
Like without a life jacket, I'm going to dive off the deep end because I know if I do it this way, the reward of winning, of success is far much greater. And I know that any loss is still just a stepping stone to get there. It's not a stopping point. So you got to dive off the deep end without a life jacket. You got to just do it. Whatever you want to do in life right now, whatever it is, you want to start a program, or you want to do a course, or you want to start a podcast, no matter what it is, like there's no way to get there by not taking risks. You don't have to pay for the platform. It might be paying for the platform. It might be telling people about it on your Instagram, but being mindful that people might look at you a certain way. You know how difficult. So look at this. Check this out, Ian. I worked at the White House, 2 different White Houses, directly for 2 different presidents. Traveled with Bush and Obama. And the First Lady, Michelle Obama. And then I now work at the mayor's office at like a high level, cabinet level position. I host a rap lyrical podcast, and where I have like Ja Rule and Royce the 5'9" as a guest. And it's just like, it looks a little silly. It's a little silly, like this guy. But when they listen to the podcast, they listen to he's actually giving motivation and just using Lil Wayne and Drake lyrics to do it. And Nicki Minaj lyrics. Like but it's like you have to be comfortable with that level of risk, whether it be a social level of risk or a financial level of risk. You have to be comfortable with that level of risk if it's going to take you to where you want to be in life.
100%, man. I love that. And I want to do another episode with you just talking about your White House life, because I'd like to know what you grew through, who you were, who you became, how you navigated that world. I'm very interested in that, but I think this is cooler for right now.
Way more fun. This is more fun.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I think about when I see these lyrics is there's a big bridge. There's a gap, like a Grand Canyon gap in between used to be stay safe. Now I stay dangerous. There's a big bridge there that needs to happen. It's a gap. It's a cavern. That's so easy in the way he said it, but it is such a big leap for people. The number one thing you got to have to bridge that gap is faith and trust in yourself. That's it. Not worry about what people think, not worry about what other people are going to say, not worried about how you're going to look. But if you have trust and faith that this is where you're supposed to go, that's where you leap without a life jacket, and just trust that you can swim, trust that the current's not going to kill you, that the waves aren't going to smash you. They're going to toss you around, but you won't die. Like my dad always used to say to me, if you want to get big, if you want to go big places, you got to let go of the bar at small places and fall. Know that the fall won't kill you, but it will propel you way past that platform you were staying on where you were kind of safe to the next platform. You'll grab the bar, you'll stay there for a second. You'll learn the things you need to learn, you'll deal with the altitude, then guess what? The fall is going to be tougher because it's higher. As long as you let go, fall backwards, and all you're falling backwards on is faith and trust in yourself. And you can say in God and whatever else you believe in, but it's really about you. Because if God's within you, then you're falling back on you, and you're only trusting you. You're falling, and you know you're going to be safe. You got faith and trust in yourself. That's why I was saying earlier, like, my dad has always taught me, you think you can do something, all chips go in. Don't save 2 chips just in case you fail or lose. All chips go in on you. No plan B. Burn those boats, whatever you want to call it. Like, there's no plan B. You'll sleep on couches. You'll eat peanut butter and jelly on rice cakes. You'll do whatever it takes to get to where you want to go. No plan B. All chips in. So
all chips in.
All chips in. All chips in. I see the gap here. And then he basically explains the gap because there's no point in playing defense. That's why I dove off the deep end without a life jacket. Now, here's what I got from it. Couple mil, tour the world, my life's cracking. Like, there's 5 bars right there that explain a lot of stuff, like in serious depth too. But I think that piece, like, no point in playing defense, that's him saying, like, I had to talk myself out of that. Then I jumped and I said, I don't care if I don't have a life jacket. I trust that I can swim.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like, they have fear in, like, the water, right? Like let's say if I jump into this water and I can't swim, there's a fear there because swimming is hard or this thing is going to be hard. Not realizing that where you are is hard. Like people say like, oh, marriage is hard. Like, well, divorce is hard. Like, so like pick your hard. Yeah, being single is hard.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like it's hard, and being single is expensive. But like another thing is people say like, oh, if I start my business, that's really hard. You know what's hard? What's hard is going to a job for 30 years that you hate and waiting until you're 65 to retire to do nothing. Like, and to live a life where you are living below what your capacity is, what you're able to do. That is one of the hardest things you could ever do. You doing a business, and like that's nowhere. That's nothing compared to regret. Regret is hard. It's hard. So it's like you're gonna live a hard life regardless of what decision you make. Are you gonna like that hard, or are you gonna not like that hard? That's up to you.
Yeah, dude. So well said. Pick your hard. Just pick your hard. Like staying in poverty is hard.
Hard. Inexpensive.
But what is the actual cost? It's not actually monetary. It's mind share. It's not a monetary cost when you're in poverty. It's mind share and opportunity and abundance and availability and options. That's what's being taken from you / you're not able to see or get when you have that poverty mentality, starting at that bottom. Then if you go up from there, like it will get harder. That's another Jay-Z lyric, right?
Bar. Yep.
Yeah. It's another Jay-Z.
It's supposed to get harder. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, you wouldn't even want it.
Right.
You wouldn't want something that was that easy. Like it's just like it's so much of a mindset, and it's like you talked about poverty being hard. Poverty is expensive. I used to work for at Department of Housing and Urban Development as well. I travel with Julian Castro and Sean Donovan, running for mayor now. I think it's today actually. There's election, but one of the things that like I learned in that process is that poverty, for instance, like if you don't have a bank account and you get paid, you got to go and cash a check at the check cashing place. They take a large percentage of that, like that you don't get to have. You don't have grocery stores in your neighborhood. You got to go to the corner stores, and it's like, and you're paying more to live what you would define an easier life because you think taking that jump into the water is hard. Like, no, you're already living hard. Choose your hard. Choose a hard is going to be something that you enjoy. So, I mean, what Nipsey Hussle did here, and on a lot of records he has, Nipsey Hussle is like, he's giving the game out on his lyrics. Like he's literally talking about like you can listen to his lyrics and just like understand business strategies. Like it's like this guy is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. We've broken him down a lot of times, but it's so important to take that leap into faith. And a lot of people talk about like, oh, something's too expensive, like a course is too expensive or a coach is too expensive. I learned that it's not expensive. It is you don't believe in yourself enough with the information to do something with it. Like, do you believe that if you have this information that you're going to, use that knowledge to take it to the next level and do something else with it? So it's like, get your mind right. Get your mind right. Have your mind on your money and your money on your mind. And do what you need to do.
It's so funny. People ask me all the time for advice. I'm an Uber driver. Like, I wear this shirt every day. By the way, if you want a Mental Purpose t-shirt, just Instagram me. Like, direct message me. Like, I'll get you one. Not you. I'm talking like the audience, but I'm going to send you one anyway. I'm going to send you one regardless. But somebody said, like, I want to start my own business. What business books should I read? And I said, there are no business books that you can read to get you ready to start a business. You must become the person that can step into building a business. So you must read personal development books first. My opinion, my expertise, by the way. I'll argue that. I'll argue that to the day I die. You will never learn unless you're reading a story. Unless you're reading a story about this person and how they came up, how they built their business. Like right now, I'm reading the book called Authentic, which is Paul Van Doren, who is the guy who started Vans shoes. Vans are like iconic, but he just worked for a shoe company for like 15, 20 years, and he tells you his story of his coming up. But if you don't know how they got them to be that person that could then get to that level in business, then you're missing crucial pieces of the puzzle that actually complete the puzzle. So I always tell people, start with you, because you go everywhere with you. The business could succeed or fail, doesn't matter. It can make you 100 or 100 million, doesn't matter. If you're not the person that can actually run it, sustain it, hire employees, run employees, make the money, manage the money, it will fail every time. It's not sustainable. It's not that it'll fail. It's just that it's not sustainable over time. So, yeah, I love that, man. I love that. Look, we're an hour in. Let's wrap, man. Let's not literally, but like, let's wrap this up.
I got some bars. Let's do it.
No, you teach me how to freestyle. Like, dude, that intimidates the shit out of me. I can't. Like, I can, if I'm on a sales call, I can flow. But not with. Will you teach me? I'm open to learning. Let's put it that way. I'm open to learning.
Okay.
I think it's fascinating, man. I watch YouTube videos all the time. I think it's fascinating to be able to not only like think of those words, but to rhyme them and have a cadence and a story you're telling at the same time. That's just fascinating to me that people have that talent. And if it can be acquired, I don't know where I'd use it, but I'd want to acquire it.
It's like improv. You can do it.
That's true. That's true. So Jason, this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate this. Just a different twist on how we talk about personal development, and seeing it in lyrics is. I think your concept's so cool, man. And I'm really grateful that you came on here and we're able to provide a really interesting way for people to think about personal development and through lyrics. And yeah, I think people are going to get a lot out of this, man. This has been great. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed my time here.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. And audience, you want to find Jason, it's at Lyrics and Lattes on Instagram. And the podcast is Lyrics and Lattes.
Easy to remember, Lyrics and Lattes. And our episodes of, we do 2 episodes a week. We do one on Monday and then one on Thursday.
Yep.
And then we have a mini episode on Thursday. It's only 1 minute long. So if you want to get a taste of Lyrics and Lattes, we break down one lyric in 1 minute.
Why'd you start this real quick before we end? Why did you start Lyrics and Lattes? Like, or what was the concept, or what was the idea, like Genesis?
Yeah, real quick, it was just like I wanted to do something around motivation, mindset, similar to what you have here.
Sure.
But it was just like, I remember a friend of mine was like, like who are you? Like what are elements of you that you could add to it? And I was like, I really like rap. Like I really enjoy like hip hop music and the lyricism, not even rap, because I listen to country as well, because there's lyricism there. So, and I just pulled up a couple of lyrics and was like, I think I can break this down and make it motivational. So it first started off with like Jay-Z and Nas. It was like really motivational lyrics that I was pulling. But then now it's more like people are challenging me. Like somebody asked me to break down Milkshake by Khalees. And it's like people are like giving me like ridiculous lyrics to break down. So now we're like breaking down serious lyrics, but we're also breaking down lyrics that are a little bit more fun and a little more entertaining, and making them motivational, making them encouraging, and pulling out and extracting the steps from them. And I encourage you, if you haven't already, our episode with Ja Rule, where Ja Rule is he's some Murder Inc. records, right? Yeah. Murder Inc. Like he's very violent music, but we are able to pull building perseverance from his lyrics and allowed him to describe how, what he said about 50 Cent or whatever was about building perseverance. So it was really good.
Love that, man. Well, dude, we're going to definitely have you back on so we can dig in a little bit more. Your story,
let's do it.
More Lyrics and Latte stuff. I want to dig into some Jay-Z stuff. I want to dig into some Lil Wayne stuff. One of my favorites. And yeah, dude, that's God, I was just thinking of a song. So you mentioned country. There's a country song that will bring me to tears even to this day, which is Trace Adkins. You're Gonna Miss This. That is a song right there that talks about regret, resentment, and legacy with your children. And that song drove me to become the guy I am today. Like literally, I heard it. It came up. It's literally. It shifted my mindset in 2014. It's an older song, but in 2014 I heard that, and again in 2016 I heard it, and I was like, man, I gotta make some changes here, because you're gonna miss this when it's gone. You're gonna miss these toys all over the floor, and you're gonna miss, applesauce on the chair. Like you're gonna miss that. So don't get pissed about it. Just embrace that. So, dude, I want to let you go. I've kept you long enough, but we'll book another one. Audience, if you want to find Jason, remember Lyrics and Lattes or at Lyrics and Lattes on Instagram. And obviously, need anything from us, IanLobas.com or mentalpurposepodcast.com. Catch you on the next one.